Hey everyone, I'm going to show you a magic trick today. And no, we're not pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Instead, I'm going to show you how to take one riff or lick that you learn and turn it into many different ones that you can use throughout the course of a song. To understand this, here's the original idea that we're going to work off of today. So it goes like this. And with this method, I'm going to teach you today, we're going to turn it into a full 12-bar blues. So check it out. Okay, so let's go take a look at that original idea. Now, this is adapted from a James Cotton song called Blues in My Sleep. So what we have here is we have a thing that where we're scooping up to 5 draw. 5 is a weird hole because if we're on a C harmonica, the blow note's an E and the draw note's an F. So usually our bend is the note that's in between the blow and the draw. And in this case, there isn't a note in between, but we do still have a bend here. We would call this a microtonal bend. Now, I don't have any fancy way of notating this, so let's just use the same half-step bend notation with the single apostrophe. And we start off with the bend up to 5. And then we repeat that twice. And then we have a descending pattern that goes like this. I'm going to play one more time. So here's the whole thing together. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's what we're going to be working on today. You might want to pause the video and work on that. Now, let's start with the first variation that we have. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking this one idea and then we're just going to manipulate it in a couple of different ways to make different variations that we can use. And you can use these like I did, like back to back in a jam to like take one idea and build it out to a full 12 bars. Or you can use this during like the course of a solo to keep kind of touching on the original idea, even though you're not constantly playing it. So the first way that you can change this is by giving it a new ending. So we're going to start the same way, but we're going to end it differently like this. So what we're doing here is we start off the same thing, 5 draw, 5 bend, 4 draw, 4 blow, 3 half step draw bend, 3 blow, and then that we end on the G there on 3 blow, and we're just going to really quickly leap up to the octave on 6. Might take a little bit of practice to do that leap in particular, and if you're still working on your bends, you could potentially simplify this and just not bend on hole 3. That's okay too. All right, so you got the idea. We're just ending this differently. So if you view this like a call and response, right? The first part is the call, but we're just giving it a different response. Okay, so that's the first way that you can change this. You can change the ending of a riff. You can change the response if you want to think about it like that. All right, so the next one here is going to go like this. Here we go. All right, so this time around, we're taking the same general pattern and rhythms, but we're shifting them down to another note in the scale. Now, if you don't know what notes to go to when you're doing this on your own, you may need to practice your scales. And you can check out my free scale cheat sheet for all of the notes and practice guides. Link is down below in the description. It's free. Go check it out. So here's what we got here. We start with the 4 half step draw bend. And we're going to keep that same rhythm and do that again. right? You can tell that's the same thing that we were just playing on 5, only it's on a different note this time. And then we are going to go 4 draw, 4 half step draw bend, 3 half step draw bend, 2 draw, 2 whole step draw bend, 1 draw, 1 blow. Here's the whole thing a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're working on your bending, you can just not bend on hole 3, and on hole 2 you can do 2 blow instead of 2 whole step draw bend. That's an option, right? It doesn't work quite as well, but that is something that you can do. You're really going to want to do the bend on hole 4 because that's kind of the characteristic part of this, but thankfully the bend on hole 4 is one of the easier ones. So that's what you can do. You can take an idea and you can just shift it around, and when you do, you're keeping some of the characteristic features like the rhythm and some of the ideas like doing this bend scoop multiple times there. But because it's shifted, you're going to be playing different notes, and this might even be something that you want to do when you are tracking different chords. So like as an example, I'm doing this one where the music is going to the 4 chord or the C chord in the song, and I'm ending on the note C. Right? So I'm kind of locking up with that part of the song. So let's go to the next idea. This is how it sounds. So for this one, we are taking the characteristic parts of this, like the, and we're just gonna simplify it down and kind of remove some notes. So a lot of the main core parts are there, but we are just removing some of the notes. And if it still works, it's a new way of using this same idea. So let's go work through this. So we start with the 5 bend up to the 5 draw. And then 4 draw, 4 blow. Okay. And then we're just going to play that last descending line that we learned earlier. 4 draw, 4 blow, 3 half step draw bend, 2 draw, 1 draw. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you can take ideas that you have and you can simplify them. And the next one, we are going to change the speed of it. Now, you could potentially go faster. You can like double the speed of an idea that you have, or you can slow it down. And that's what we're gonna do here. So this one's just gonna be, okay, so I'm just focusing on that bend scoop. So we have the 5 bend up to the 5 draw. And then we do that again twice. So that's what you can do. You can take an idea and you can kind of mess with the speed of it. You can slow parts down. You can take little sections of it like we did and kind of drag them out. So we're just ignoring the whole rest of the thing and we're just focusing on that 5 bend. So remember the first variation we had where we changed the response? It's like the call, which is like the first part, that was the same, and then we changed the second part, the response. Well, for this last one, we are going to flip that on its head. We're going to play a different call, but use the same response. Here we go. And that's what we're going to do. So you can hear the first part is a little different. So we do the 5 bend up to the 5 draw. 4 draw, 6 blow. Okay, and then we are going to finish out this whole thing with the same response, the same ending part as we had in the beginning. So I hope you can see how that works together. So if you want to use riffs better, you're going to need to actually remember them first before a lot of this is going to stick. So check this video over here that will help you make your riffs sticky so you don't just forget them the next day. Peace.